Point, but let's bring in another perspective if we can. Ajmal Masroor, as a native Bangladeshi, when you look at what is going on, at these accusations being traded by both sides against each other, do you feel that democracy is being upheld by laws like the blasphemy laws, as the case has been argued by Mahidur Rahman, or do you feel that parties on both sides of the political spectrum are using the situation for their own political gains?
I would like to leave aside the blasphemy law. I think that's a red herring in this discussion. What is more important for me is the erosion of democracy, is the destruction of civil society institutions, it's the destruction of law and order in the country, safety and security of people, and most importantly, the country has been polarized by all political parties because of their own personal interest. Let me give you a couple of examples. In Bangladesh, according to Amnesty International's report, in the last few years, since this government has been in power, more than 1,000 people have been abducted and their whereabouts have never been found. In fact, the accusation is that it has been done at the watch of the current government. Second one we find is to do with the recent uprising. Those who have been demonstrating in a democracy, demonstration and opposition parties make a democracy rich, and yet under the current government in Bangladesh, what we are seeing is very alarming development of complete erosion of people's right to assemble, and when they do assemble, they got shot at by the security services. In fact, ministers in the cabinet, especially in Bangladeshi parliament, who are very close to the current prime minister, have been recorded as saying that you should shoot to kill them, hang them wherever you find them. I mean, such barbaric tone and language polarizes, in my view, Bangladeshi people. And the third point I would like to say is what's happened in recent days, yesterday and the day before. I don't agree with Hafazat Islam's points. I think most of them are very backward in their understanding and their demand. They don't understand politics very much. And that's the reason why I don't support them. But what I do support is their right to assemble and protest if they want to. What I also think what government has done grossly violated is that the rights of these people have been completely destroyed. They were sleeping at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. Security services moved in. They shut down the electricity. They told the press not to be present. Any opposition press was completely shut down. Press was given clear instructions. In fact, some of the press are now saying through the social media that their cameramen were beaten up, their equipments were confiscated because they have evidence of people whose dead bodies were being carried in truckloads. So what we're talking about is a massacre that took place by the order of the government, by the current Prime Minister Hasina. And that is very alarming for us in Britain especially, for we support democracy in Bangladesh. We'd like to see human rights, regulations and rights upheld. We would like to see Bangladesh progress. Unfortunately, under the current government, what we have seen is nepotism, corruption, as well as institutional destruction is happening at a gross level.
Okay, very serious accusations, no doubt. H.T. Imam, as an advisor to the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, how do you respond? How do you defend against these accusations?
Let me tell you one thing first. The first thing is that these gentlemen, and the one gentleman, Mr. Mahidur Rahman, he was repeatedly saying about failure of the government. If you look at the record, the economic record and the social record and the development record and the human development records of this government, it has been one of the most successful governments ever. This is one. Secondly,
Mr. Imam, could you please address the points made just now by Mr. Ajmal Masroor? He talked about disappearances, kidnappings, killings by security forces. Can you deny that this has or hasn't happened?
I'll respond to all of these. Please listen to me. The first thing is that what was being referred to as abduction and kidnapping, this is totally wrong. These are accusations and very wild accusations. Number one. Number two, would any government allow its capital being seized?
Mr. Advisor, you know that too. I'll give you an example. According to Amnesty International's report,
listen to me,
and the Human Rights Watch of Asia report, the accusation is very clear that your government is directly responsible for kidnapping, extrajudicial execution of the opposition members, as well as running a kangaroo court in Bangladesh in the name of War Crimes Tribunal, violating international standards. These are accusations levied against you by international organizations.
No extrajudicial killing. I insist that there has been no extrajudicial killings. If you look at the statistics, please look at the statistics back what happened between 2001 and 2006, how many people were killed, how many attacks were made. You remember 21st August when the opposition, entire opposition leadership was under grenade attack, how people like Mr. Kibriya were killed, people like Mr. Hassanullah were killed, and how the army also operated, and there was Operation Clean Heart, and that was given legal indemnity. Compared to that, if you look now, what has happened is the Hifaz-e-Islam, they submitted their 13-point demand, and they said instantly that all their demands will have to be accepted. No government would do that. We are good Muslims
can you answer,
also.
Can you answer one simple question, sir? And that is, why did you shut down electricity in Dhaka city on the 2 days ago? And why did you allow your security forces to kill?
No shutdown.
And why did you not allow any press to be present? Where are the bodies that have been killed? Why have they been completely
totally wrong.
Removed? And we don't know where they are. Where are those bodies?
I insist that this is totally wrong. I insist you are totally wrong, you are misinformed. If you look back to
so why did you not allow press to be present if it's wrong? Why did you tell all the international media not to be present? Why did you destroy the camera as well as beat up reporters who were reporting on the ground?
And why
We've got evidence to show that government orders were given to execute those people on site, and their bodies were taken by trucks.
Mr. Masroor, can we allow Mr. Imam a quick response and then move on to a few other issues?
Yes. And this is what I just wanted to say, that the police went on operation when the Islam people, they started attacking the other people. They in fact attacked the National Museum and the National Mosque, Baitul Mukarram, and there were some elements from the Hifaz-e-Islam who even burnt copies of the Holy Quran. And they looted even shops, jewelry shops in that area. They burnt vehicles, hundreds of them. When they went on the rampage, the police, what could the police and the government do? Could the government allow them to take over Dhaka city? Would any government do it?
Well, no doubt the government
and the police.
Mr. H.T. Imam, no doubt the government is coming under increasing pressure because of the demands being made by groups like Hifaz-e-Islam. It has issued, as we've been saying, a 13-point charter of demands, including the death penalty for those who insult Islam and a ban on men and women mixing in public. Do you accept any of these demands?
May I respond to one point?
Do you accept any of these demands being made by this group?
The gentleman. Please let me respond to the question regarding the presence of the media. Yesterday, when the police went into operation at late night, the entire area was infested, I would say, with media people. There were all the media channels, television channels people were there, the print media were there, and all of these were in full view. The police action was in full view of the media. And so there was no secrecy, there was no question of hiding any dead body. No person was killed in the operation. If you look at the pictures, you will see that the police were taking away even small children who were brought by the Hifaz-e-Islam, who are the members of the orphanages and members of the madrasas who were brought into the city.
No doubt this is all being investigated by the right organizations, human rights organizations, but I do need to get your perspective, the government's perspective. Mr. Imam, we need to get to this point. You've got many people demonstrating on the streets of Dhaka, demanding a blasphemy law, essentially supporting many of these 13-point demands being made by the group we mentioned earlier. What is a red line for you? What are you willing to accept? What simply won't you accept as a government?
We can't accept all of them, because there are some points which go to the very fundamentals of the existence of this country. This country has been created with the blood of 3 million people who were killed during the war. You know how the women were molested. You know how what were the roles of these war crime, the criminals who are being tried now. All of these taken together, there are certain things on fundamental issues which we cannot go back. This is one. Second is, there are some points in the 13 points which the Prime Minister herself explained that she was ready to accept. She was ready to accept, and she also said that we can talk about it, we can sit together. She also, regarding the elections.
Mahidur Rahman, just how much room, though, will there be for tolerance in a traditionally secular Bangladesh if some of these religious principles are adopted?
Well, basically, I mean, like, we are a pro, secularism party. We believe in secularism. We believe in all religion must practice their religion, freely and without any sort of suppression or oppression. But at the same time, because there is a 90% Muslim-oriented country, Islam has to be highly respected. At the same time, the minority religion also has to be accepted. But Bangladesh was running very nicely over the last 42 years since the birth of Bangladesh. But under the present government, Bangladesh has been divided into pro-Islamic, anti-Islamic, pro-liberation, anti-liberations, and all this issue the present government has brought, and country has been divided into many pieces, many sections. And this is where I am saying that the government has totally failed to unite the nation, to uphold the democratic institution in Bangladesh, because they have destroyed. They don't give any opportunity to the opposition party to raise their voice against any government's wrongdoing or any atrocity or any torture that is being done on the opposition party. They kept on filing false cases against the BNP leaders and activists, including the BNP chairperson and senior vice chair, Mr. Tariq Rahman, and trying to suppress them politically, trying to neutralize them, filing false cases and hanging them around until the next election comes, so that they can convict them, because the judiciary also being influenced by the executive authority, it is being politicized. So people have got nowhere to go. Basically, people are now very much suffocated. Bangladeshi people have got no alternative but to come to the street and raise their voice. But government has a duty to listen to those people. It is not, we are not talking about the hundreds of thousands of people. We are talking about the millions of people in Bangladesh.
Where does the country go from here? Ajmal Masroor.
Well, very simply, I believe international community is watching very closely the development in Bangladesh. We certainly are from Britain. And what I would like to see is the current government should, of course, tender its resignation immediately, for it has been accused of, and lots of evidences are emerging. And if it is true that they are responsible for the massacre, they should all be tried for crimes against Bangladeshi people, especially in The Hague. That's number one. Number two, Bangladesh needs to have a pluralist approach to democracy. It needs to have a healthy opposition. It needs to have a democratically mandated government that looks at the welfare of the people itself. Bangladesh needs to be free from Indian interference. India wants a free market for its own commodity in Bangladesh, and it is not in the best interest of Bangladesh often that is negotiated. Bangladesh needs to invest in education, in infrastructure building. Bangladesh needs to teach its own citizens the values of democracy and not abuse it. And finally, all the political parties actually need to rethink their position, because they actually have been, including BNP, Awami League and Jamaat Islami, from our perspective, international perspective, they have been all party to corruption, nepotism, all sorts of underhanded ways of dealing with Bangladesh and democracy. They've been buying votes. They've been using mob rule, thuggery, mafia to get their own ways. It is not a way a country like that can survive. 160 million people deserve a better future, and I believe their future directly depends on total freedom, democracy, rule of law, multi-party system, and pluralism.
Obviously, still a very heated debate with a lot of blame to go around. For now, though, let me thank all our guests, Mahidur Rahman, H.T. Imam, and Ajmal Masroor. And thank you, of course, for watching. Remember, you can find this program and many more at aljazeera.com. Just follow the links for programs and Inside Story. And you can, of course, leave us your comments and feedback. From Miri Dafakhri and the team, thanks for watching.